Thank you for joining us for today's Community Telephone Town Hall. My name is Catherine Vegas, and I'm the Associate Director of Operations for the Executive Office of Mayor Muriel Bowser. Today we are joined by Corey Colgan, Teaching and Learning Chief of DCPS, Dr. Bren Elliott, School Improvement and Supports Chief from DCPS, and Emerald Baker, Enrollment and Attendance Deputy Chief from DCPS. These ladies will be joining us and providing an update on DCPS schools. This is a reoccurring series of updates regarding our schools, so be sure to follow along to have all your questions answered. Before we get started, I would like to remind you that if you would like to ask a question at any time during the call, you can press 0 and you will be added to our speaker queue. And now I would like to pass it over to Corey, DCPS Teaching and Learning Chief.
Thank you and good evening. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Along with my colleagues tonight, we will be talking about DCPS summer programming, school safety and health updates, and the DCPS enrollment process. So first, summer is coming. We are very excited to talk a little bit about what we have in store for summer learning this summer. We will be offering both academic and non-academic enrichment activities this summer. These are designed to strengthen our relationships between students, their peers, and the adults in our schools. And the programming is free of charge. And so I'd like to go through a few details of what we have available. So to start, for elementary, our current pre-K through 4 and 4th grade students are eligible for our Elementary Acceleration Program. This program is designed to provide academic acceleration and supports in all content areas with a focus on literacy and math, science, and social studies. It will be paired in the afternoon with really fun enrichment activities, such that children would typically find in summer programming or summer camps. We also have English Learner Summer Acceleration Programming. This is programming designed to support our English learners who are just beginning learning the English language. They will be doing a lot of fun relationship building and language development work in fun small classroom environments. Those programs will be co-located with the acceleration programming so that our LSAP students will also have the opportunity to participate in the afternoon enrichments. And then also for elementary students, we have the extended school year programming. This is by invitation only for students with IEPs, for whom it has been determined by the IEP team that this is a necessary support for their learning. So this year, building off the successes that we had last year and increasing our summer programming, we are offering programming at over 20 sites across, elementary sites across the city. Schools are grouped together toward one sending site, so students will be able to attend in a school that is hopefully close to their home or their home school, and those sites will be staffed by leaders and teachers from the sending school, so students should all see familiar faces. Moving on to middle school programming, we have a similar middle school acceleration program that will focus on the core content areas of ELA, math, science, and social studies. Again, this programming will be project-based, hands-on, enriching learning, and then followed in the afternoon by some exciting enrichment opportunities. These could be things like sports, robotics, outdoor pursuits. The afternoon enrichments for both elementary and middle school will vary by site, and more details will become available of those programming shortly. Again, similar to elementary school, we have English learner programming at the middle school level, as well as extended school year or ESY programming. I should note that the elementary and middle school programming are all 5-week programs this summer. They run they run through August 5th, and they, again, are going to be available for the students that are in middle school for the current 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students. In addition, we have some middle school specialty programming, which we have expanded this year. So the first category for this is Algebra Accelerator 1, 2, and 3. So these programs are for students that are going into 6th grade, 7th grade, or 8th grade that want to get a little additional challenge in math, and in completing the Algebra Accelerator program in the summer can help put the students on track for the accelerated math pathways in their school with the hopes of taking and earning an Algebra 1 credit in 8th grade. Secondly, we have career and technology educational programming for our middle grade students to get a taste of some of the amazing career and technical education programs that many of our high schools have to offer. So we will be offering programming in the areas of coding, programming, robotics, and graphic design. And lastly, we do have an opportunity for middle school students who are interested in earning original credit. That means getting a high school credit before even entering high school, and that is available in art, health, Algebra 1, or Spanish. So if students successfully complete those intensive courses, they can earn a high school credit in those areas. Students can talk to their school staff at their schools for more information about what would make them eligible for those various courses. And then lastly, moving on to high school, we will, as always, run a robust credit recovery program for our high school students who are in need of earning additional credits to continue on their path towards graduation. We also are very excited to once again partner with the Summer Youth Employment Program so that students who are learning this summer can also earn money and learn more about possible careers by participating in a combined summer credit recovery and summer youth employment program. We also are going to be offering Summer Bridge for all rising 9th grade students. So for our 9th graders entering high school for the first time, each of our high schools will offer a summer bridge to help orient the students to their new school communities and help them on the path to success in high school. Just as we did in elementary and middle, we will also offer English learner summer programming to support our students who are English learners. They will again focus on language development. They also will have the opportunity to earn original credits or recover credits for courses that they needed additional time to be successful in. And we will also offer extended school year for students with IEPs for whom that is a part of their IEP. These programs will be in the morning. Students may be scheduled in up to 2 credit courses. So where can you learn more about all of this information? I know I just shared a lot of different details about different programs that are open to our students this summer. What I recommend is that you go to the website that is listed here, dcpsreopenstrong.com/summer. At this site, you will find lots more details about each of the types of programming that we're offering, and also links to where you enroll and register. Now I'd love to turn it over to my colleague, Dr. Brent Elliott, who's going to talk to us about our COVID screening and testing protocols.
Good afternoon. DCPS continues to have robust COVID-19 screening and testing protocols to ensure that our students and staff are safe and we limit the impact of COVID-19 on our campuses. So there are 4 main things that we continue to lean into in addition to another suite of mitigation strategies. But the 4 that we'll focus on for most of today's conversation is safe return testing, early childhood weekly testing, mail home kits for close contacts, and routine asymptomatic testing. Similar to after our Christmas and February breaks, We do safe return testing, and we will do that after our April spring break. We are continuing to provide on a weekly basis COVID-19 test kits for all pre-K and kindergarten students. In addition to that, we are providing mail home tests for any students or staff that are identified as close contacts. And finally, we continue to do weekly routine asymptomatic testing on our campuses, between 20 to 10% of our students on our campuses. So let's talk a little bit more about the safe return testing. It was determined in consultation with our health partners that requiring 100% of our students and staff to test prior to returning from school from a break was a critical strategy in reducing the spread of COVID in our schools. So again, we'll do that after this, the spring break that is coming up. And you should be expecting your child to bring home a COVID test before before the spring break. So let me go a little bit into the details. Hopefully many of you are familiar with these procedures because we have kind of used the same procedures in our last two tests to return. But number one, you pick up the COVID test at your school. All tests should be distributed by this Friday. Most likely students will be able to pick those up either on Thursday or Friday of this week. You can also pick up a rapid test at other public sites around the city in the event that your student is not in school and not able to receive one. So you take that kit home, have a wonderful spring break, and then administer that at-home test on Monday, April the 18th. Typically, those tests have been administered in the past on a Sunday, but Monday, April the 18th is not a school day. It's a teacher work day this year, so students should administer their test on Monday following the simple instructions that are included in the kit. The third step is to upload proof of your negative test results at dcpsreopenstrong.com/safe-return, and you are asked to upload those results by 9 p.m. on Monday, April the 18th. And just really encourage you to set a calendar reminder so you do remember to upload your results before your student reports to school. And then 4, we ask that you continue to monitor for any symptoms of COVID-19. If your student has not gotten vaccinated, please do so. That's one of our strongest mitigation strategies against COVID-19. Receive the booster if eligible, wear a mask, and stay home if you are not feeling well. So I wanted to also just take a moment to share with you a screenshot of what it looks like for the information that you have to upload for your student's result. This does include your student's name, address, a contact email, a contact phone number, their school, and the date of their test and the test results. You should also upload a photo or a PDF if you have that of your test results. And again, if you find that you're having difficulties in submitting the results, you can call the the Family and Student Tech Call Center at 202-442-5885. So what if your student's results are positive? If you have a positive result or a negative result, you need to upload your results. If you have a positive result, please immediately upload those results and begin isolating. That means that you would separate your child from other household members or protect other household members with masks to ensure that you're not spreading COVID-19 in your home or with other folks. All individuals, regardless of their vaccination status or whether they recently had a COVID infection, if they test positive, they must isolate. So it doesn't matter if you've already had a COVID vaccine. If you test positive, You must isolate, and you are not able to go to school until you complete your isolation period. And finally, I want to emphasize that there is no option to reverse a positive test result with additional testing. So if you test positive, you have to follow through with the isolation period. You can't take another test the next day, and that test is negative and then consider eligible to return to school. Once you test positive, you're positive, and you must complete the required isolation period. When can your child return to school if they test positive? So we're providing here isolation guidance both for students and for staff. So it is the same criteria. If a child has no symptoms or mild to moderate symptoms and they test positive, they must isolate for a minimum of 5 days. After the 5th day, they can take a COVID test. Actually, they can take that test on or after the 5th day. And if they receive a negative result at that point and do not have, very limited symptoms, and they are fever-free for up to 24 hours, at least 24 hours, without any fever-reducing medication, then they would be eligible to return to school. When they return to school, they must continue to wear their mask on day 6. If that's the day that they return, they will be eligible to return on day 6, and they would need to continue to wear their mask from day 6 all the way to day 10. If your student has severe or critical COVID or is immunocompromised, they would need to isolate at home for the full 10 days from when they first had symptoms. They may want to have additional testing, but in those cases where you have severe COVID, we strongly encourage you to work in consultation with your medical provider as far as any guidance around additional testing. If you were initially asymptomatic and started to have symptoms during your isolation period, it's also important to note that you would need to start over at day 0 and let from the day of symptoms, and your isolation period may be extended. So just a reminder of key updates. Again, masks are optional for students in our schools. So if your child wants to wear a mask or you feel most comfortable with your child continue to wear a mask, they should. There are many students and staff in our schools that continue to wear masks. It is optional at this point. And it applies for all school-related activities anytime that the students are on campus with regards to masks. In addition, a reminder that we have a layered mitigation strategy, so we don't just have one thing. Certainly, masks have been one thing that we've used, but other protocols like isolation and quarantining or other protocols that were used are asymptomatic and symptomatic testing, ventilation, our air filtration systems, screening procedures at the door. All of those provide a robust offering of strategies to limit the impact of COVID on our campuses, and we continue with all of those things that are mentioned. Isolation, and I just want to emphasize because isolation has shifted at the beginning of March. It used to be 7 days. Now it is actually aligned with our quarantining, so it is a minimum of 5 days for isolation, and if you are unvaccinated, it is a minimum of 5 days for your quarantine. So whenever we have a positive notification in our buildings, you receive a letter from your school if you are a close contact, and we ask you to follow the guidance that you receive in those letters. It's the best way to be sure that you're following the appropriate protocol. And if there is a positive case in your school, we are continuing to post our community notifications, but there is a separate notification that goes to individuals who are deemed COVID close contacts. And finally, again, I'll emphasize, get vaccinated. Get vaccinated if you haven't. It is one of the best metrics or measures that we can use to prevent the spread of COVID in our schools. So I want to encourage you to do that. And with that, I will turn it over to my colleague, Emerald.
Thank you, Dr. Elliott. Thank you so much for having me, and I'm very excited to share that the My School DC lottery results were released on Friday, April 1st, which kicked off enrollment season for the upcoming school year 22-23. My name's Emerald Becker. I'm the Deputy Chief of Enrollment Attendance and at DC Public Schools, and I'm really excited to share important enrollment information for the upcoming school year. There are so many reasons to enroll in DC Public Schools. My colleagues have already shared a plethora of reasons, but really we have the best teachers, the best school leaders, and we have the most amazing programming to offer all of your students. So we are eager to lock your student in for the upcoming school year so that they can secure their seat and we can plan accordingly. To complete enrollment, first, you'll need to confirm where you're going to enroll. Families in kindergarten through grade 12 can enroll in their in-boundary school or their feeder school. If you applied in the lottery and you got a match, you have until Monday, May 2nd to secure your seat by completing enrollment. Once you know where you're going to enroll, you're going to need to gather supporting documentation. Every family enrolling in a public school in DC needs to prove residency annually. If you are new to DC Public Schools, in addition to proving residency, you're going to have to provide proof of age as well as complete the home language survey. Finally, once you have your documentation, you're going to complete the DCPS enrollment packet. The packet this year can be completed electronically or in person. If you have any questions about how to complete enrollment or need any kind of help, contact your school that you're enrolling in, or you can reach out to the DCPS enrollment team at enroll@k12.dc.gov, and we are happy to support you however we can. There are many reasons to enroll now. The first is that it helps you secure seats in the after-school programs and also will help secure your preferred scheduling for your student. Also, enrolling now really helps us ensure that we are planning the best possible way that we can for your student for next season. And finally, do it now so that you don't have to do it over the summer and you can check it off your list. Thank you so much to all of our wonderful families who have already completed enrollment. We so appreciate the time that you take to do that, and we look forward to welcoming all of our students to the next school year next year. Thank you. All right, and back to EOM.
Great, thank you. And now we'll move to the question and answer portion of our program. As a reminder, if you would like to ask a question, you can press 0 and be added to our speaker queue. If you're joining via social media, you can either comment on our Facebook or Twitter live streams, and we'll be able to look at your questions through there. But we do have some pre-submitted questions that we'll turn to first. The first one regarding summer learning. The parent is asking, I'm having an issue accessing the registration form because I don't have a computer at home. Who can assist me to fill the forms out?
Okay, for summer programming, I'm happy to take that question. On the website that I mentioned, that website is mobile friendly, so if you can access that on your cell phone, you can get all the information you need there, but unfortunately that registration form that it links to is not mobile friendly, and I promise that is something that we are working for to improve in the future, because we have heard that that can be a limitation for families. So 2 things you could do if that is an issue that you're experiencing. One is to work with your school. If you currently attend a DCPS school, the staff at your school should be able to make a computer available to you so that you can complete that enrollment form. The other option is to send us an email. So if you can use your phone to send us an email at dcps.summer@k12.dc.gov. And that email address, I'll say it one more time, dcps.summer@k12.dc.gov. You can ask any questions related to summer programming there. We can also help you with registration or enrollment. And that email is also listed on the website that I shared earlier.
Great, thank you. Now we have a call-in question from Veronica Martin. So Veronica, I will unmute you now and you can go ahead and ask your question. You are unmuted.
Yes, my question was, once the students come back from off of their spring break, will they be providing the parents an email so that they could go on there to submit their COVID testing before coming back to school?
Thank you for the question. Actually, you just can go to the site that I mentioned earlier to upload your results, and that is DCPS Reopen Strong /Safe Return. That is the site that you can go to upload your results. So there's not email that comes from the schools that gives you access to that. You can just go online. You can go to the DCPS Reopen Strong website, and you would be able to find that information as well.
Great. Thank you, Veronica, for calling in. And a reminder to our others who are calling in, press 0 if you have a question, and we will cue you in to talk to our panel today. But we'll move over to another summer learning question that was submitted by a parent asking, are my kids required to attend the whole day, or am I able to pick them up after lunch?
Okay, thank you very much for that question. We definitely encourage students to participate in the full day of programming. For one, we think the afternoons in particular are going to be really fun for our students and have an opportunity to be active, develop their friendships, try new things. We're working with many community partners to bring some really exciting opportunities. That said, if there's extenuating circumstances or a reason that the child needs to attend only for half day, we encourage you to work with your summer school site leader, and we should be able to accommodate that schedule.
Great. Now we will move to a question regarding school health and safety. The parent is asking, with people traveling over spring break and potentially cases rising, do you think there will be a push to require masks for the first week or two coming back from spring break? And secondly, or would there be a requirement for younger students who still do not have access to the vaccine?
Thank you for the question. Again, we work in close collaboration with our health partners, DC Health in particular, and they follow closely, obviously, the guidance from CDC. And that is not currently the recommendation to move to require masks, so we follow the data with regards to community spread, and that is not the trend that we're seeing here now. So, we will, certainly be looking at those metrics, but right now masks are not required. If there were significant changes in what we see, we would take advisement from our health partners if we'd be changing those protocols.
Our next question from another parent is, I am new to the district and missed the lottery. Is there a way to still access a wait list for schools on my list?
Absolutely. And the first thing I would say to new families is definitely make sure to determine your in-boundary school and your feeder school. The families in grades K through 12 have amazing options that they have a right to attend to. So please look into what your school is that you already have a right to attend to. If you would like to apply to a school outside of your in-boundary or feeder school, you can absolutely submit a post-lottery application via myschool.dc.gov anytime. If you need any help determining which schools you would like to apply to, or if you'd like help actually completing the application, you can reach out to enroll@k12.dc.gov.
Great. And we'll move to our last question for the program. This parent is asking, does my child need to fill out the forms again if they've already enrolled in their neighborhood school this year?
Great question. Yes, every family has to complete enrollment every single school year in the District of Columbia.
Wonderful. And if we were unable to get to your question online, we will try to follow up to make sure all questions are answered. And thank you all for attending today's town hall.